afternoon, and thank you for joining us for the Rural and Remote Homelessness presentation on promoting disaster preparedness, response, and recovery in the Nova Scotia homelessness community. And I am joined here with Jeannie Hughes, who gave the presentation. And Jeannie, we have one question so far in the chat box. It's from Heather. And the question says, tuning in from Western Nova Scotia, what role or service do you see from public health social services as critical moving forward? Or should this be a collaborative working panel? I just left public health for a MSW. Much of what you're saying is very much aligned with the career change, including recovery post-COVID.
Yeah, that's a good question. I think, this was the first time that public health was joined by the other stakeholders to work on and work at the tables, looking at what services can we provide to people who are experiencing homelessness. And you would wonder, why would it take so long to have public health involved? Because they play a very critical role in terms of thinking about what public health measures do we need to set up going forward. But the stakeholders that came together during COVID at what we called stakeholder tables, one in Cape Breton and one in Halifax, what was really important is they worked together. All different bodies came together, and it was the first time public health was at that table, and they all shared such collaborative ideas and things that they needed to do to work together. And that was so very important. And the other item that came up was we really need first voice, lived experience at those tables as well. Not just the service providers, but those who are experiencing homelessness. We need to hear them at the table as well. So thank you for the question.
Thanks, Jeannie. I just put in the chat box asking if anyone else has any other questions. We have another 20 minutes left. So if there are any questions, please feel free to put them in the Q&A box. Did you have anything you wanted to add, Jeannie, about your presentation?
I think that just the one kind of thing that's really important that we're all recognizing so much is how do we all come together and work collaboratively? This just because we're looking at homelessness during COVID doesn't mean homelessness is going to go away. Of course, it doesn't go away. And some really critical issues like universal basic income for everybody. We need it for everybody. And we need housing. And in Nova Scotia, I know that housing is not widely available in lots of places, but in Nova Scotia, we're really, really experiencing it right now. And so when we're looking at what goes forward from now on, and we're getting to winter time, Halifax already has a tent city. Again, we've had it many times. And so we're looking at and working with, we have been working with a couple of the hotels once again to take people in. We've been able to work with, we've converted one hotel that's actually been bought. So it's providing a lot of services and harm reduction services as well. So that's really important. But on a go forward basis, we have to recognize the bigger picture that we really have to look at homelessness, and it's an ongoing issue and we need to fix it. We really need to attend to it. And it does take collaborative partners working together to really address and work with the issue. And we need ideas from all different kinds of people. The other thing that I would say is that I know I talked about, but during pandemics like COVID, we really have to find better ways of transferring information and getting it out to the whole public, because that was one of the things that people were really nervous about. They just thought that they didn't believe the information they were getting about vaccinations and what COVID was doing. And so really nervous about vaccination, whatever. And they didn't trust the information they were getting. They thought it was fake, and many people did. Then we really have to find safe ways, sending out information over the media, social media, when everything is closed down that provides publicly available Wi-Fi, means that people who are homeless, they don't get access to the information. The places where they go, like in Halifax, they would have the library where they could walk in, talk to people, have an appointment with a social worker or navigator or whatever. All of that was shut down. There was nowhere to get access to Wi-Fi. And so people were giving information in ways that the people who were homeless were not trusting. And so careful information needs to go out from a trusted source. So we have organizations like Mobile Outreach Street Health who provide information. People trusted them, but they didn't trust what you were getting in just on the street. And so we really have to do a whole lot more when we're thinking about sending out information to the whole community during the pandemic. In particular, we have to think of where are we going to send that information? How do we make publicly available information available to all people? And we can't just use the media because not everybody has it. Yeah.
That's a really good point, Janie. I recently moved from Yellowknife, Northwest Territories, and it was quite similar there. Small community and same thing, most facilities that had access to public Wi-Fi were closed down. So same thing with the hesitancy and the trusting of the vaccine, but I think it's opened up a bit now. And
and when you look at people who do have access to Wi-Fi and do have access to information, look at a lot of people still are hesitant to get vaccinated. So we really have to think of different ways to talk about what do vaccines do, and why are they important to have, and how can they protect everybody. And there, a lot of people who are homeless were feeling worried that, oh, I'm just going to die and you're going to kill me. And so, we really need to be talking about how to help all people, not just people who are living and experiencing homelessness, but all people to begin to understand what is important about vaccinations and how to get them and how to work collaboratively with all stakeholders, not just in siloed spaces, but how to have people come together. One of the best things that happened in Nova Scotia is that we had what we called tables where stakeholders came together, and they weren't stakeholders who would always work together. Some of them were new, including public health. But what a lot of people were suggesting is that we really need to have at the tables, we have to have people who are experiencing homeless there too, because they have the lived experience. They know what that's like. And actually what's happening now, even though we're in the fourth wave for COVID, some of the resources have been sort of pulled away from sometimes some of the tables, and we need to think it's not over yet. It's not over yet. And those tables, we need those tables to continue working, not just for COVID, but to continue to work about what else do we need to do? How do we need to help people? And how do we make change?
I completely agree with you. We need to make sure that we're coordinating services and finding the gaps and filling them for individuals and families experiencing homelessness.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I think what's interesting, you were just saying where you moved from to in Vancouver, is it?
I'm in Chilliwack, British Columbia.
Chilliwack. Okay. So, but you moved from one kind of a spot, that's sort of not heavily housed and populated, to one that is more heavily populated. And so learning, I think it's really important for us to learn what's it like to be in whatever community. We've got big cities, that kind of thing, but we have small rural communities. And it's very interesting how, for instance, in Cape Breton, it's, you know, it's a small population, but more than 14,000, but, you know, they were able to build comfort centers, 4 comfort centers, you know, that other people could, you know, lots of people could use. And, you know, it brought to attention to the general public, who started saying, you provided, you know, laundry, washing, you know, and people just don't think about that. When you think about people, you know, a shower, you know, bathroom, laundry facilities that people don't think about sometimes. They just think, okay, you just go and, you know, use the washroom. It's not just that. And so the general public began to understand that, wow, there's more that we're needing to be providing, and, you know, we didn't realize what was there. And for in the Halifax group, when we're put people in hotel, you know, a lot of people said, oh my God, they're just, you know, going to ruin the hotel and whatever. No, people kept saying, I had a bed. You know, it's been so long since I slept in a bed. I had a shower every single time every day I was there. And we had a harm reduction program. Then people were worried about that, you know, was going to be some problem with that. It was an alcohol harm reduction program, and no, it worked. You know, to me, it's also, how do we work with people? We don't just, you know, say, oh, get over there. It's, we've got to work with people. We've got to be compassionate, and reflect on, what would I be like if I were homeless? And, you know, what could I do? So, you know, and we're all human. I keep saying all the time, we are all human. We all have lots to learn about what does it take to help us continue to go forward.
Absolutely. I'm just going to do one final call out. If there's any more questions from the group, there haven't been any more in the Q&A and nothing in the live chat. So this is sort of your last minute warning, guys. We have 16 minutes left. So if you guys want to put your final questions in, we can take a couple more. I'm not seeing any. Jeannie, did you have any final words that you wanted to give before we close the session?
No, I think I'm okay, and I guess I think I presented what we found and what our study was all about. And when we're looking at homelessness, you know, lots of times people only think about it in a big city. When Nova Scotia, we had 2 sites. You know, Halifax is the bigger municipality. Then Cape Breton is the 2nd largest in Nova Scotia. But, you know, we're not big. We're not like Toronto and Vancouver, but we still have similar challenges and problems that need to be addressed. There's so much work that we need to do. So need to keep working collaboratively. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Jeannie, and thank you to the participants for tuning in today, and I hope everyone enjoys the rest of the conference.
Yeah.
Thank you, and have a good day.
You too. Bye.
Bye.